This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
We saw the AFL came down real hard on Jimmy Webster, great name by the way, St Kilda player, who's been around for a little while, trying to still, cement his spot in the AFL and longevity and all that kind of thing. But he decided to bump the other day when we know that the bump's just been outlawed time and time again, and more importantly with Angus Brayshaw's career finishing just recently. Then I guess the AFL have decided over the last year and a bit that they've suspended people for 2 weeks and 3 weeks, and it's still happening where they've decided, we've got to make more of an impact here.
They had said they were going to be, after the Angus Brayshaw thing, that there was going to be bigger penalties this year.
Yep.
Does that include when they're training with each other? What's the deal there?
No, in the NFL, I know it's a different sport, but in the NFL, they have limited contact hours. So in AFL, when we're at Freo, or the Eagles, they can smash into each other all the time because they need the practice and body contact and stuff like that. But I believe that is going to be a thing that's going to come into place.
So what will that do to training sessions and stuff? Because really you'll be going, 80% compared to 100% on game days?
Yeah, it's really difficult because iron sharpens iron. I always say that one to the kids.
What
when
do
I'm
you
coaching.
say?
Iron sharpens iron. So you need to smash into get the body contact.
Oh, like when you're sharpening a knife.
So that then you're used to it.
You're
Your
used
body
to the
becomes
impact.
physically accustomed to it.
It's really
But
difficult
you're right. The line will become down to workplace health and safety. Right?
It will.
That's the problem,
But then
isn't it?
again, you do get used to things. The first time Shaun's shirt fronted me here at work, I was shocked. But it's happened every day since it started.
Absolutely.
And you've
now
really
it's just,
toughened up, haven't
now
you?
it's just in the mix and I don't even cry anymore.
No, you don't. You come back with a quick clothesline. I'm okay with that. So Jimmy's got the 7 weeks on the sideline. David Mission is the executive general manager of the St Kilda Football Club.
That'll do.
This is him talking afterwards.
It's not good enough now to say that it was a split-second decision, it was instinctive. The AFL, again, rightly, are asking players to make safer decisions in those split seconds, and I think it's fair and reasonable.
They've certainly accepted it these days.
Seconds.
Yeah. Even he said,
That used to be the defence.
I'm going to have to cop my punishment like Jimmy Webster did, didn't he? Yeah.
He really
The only
did.
time I don't agree with it is when someone's in the air and they can't change their trajectory.
Yeah, I know. That's a real difficult one as well. They're saying that you cannot leave
Yes, if
The
you're
ground without knowing that you're going to land safely.
it's when they're because it's in respect to the bump, right? Yeah.
So if you're in the air
Yep.
and you see, oh no, I'm going to hit someone, what do?
You turn your shoulder away from them.
Do you just go, look out! Incoming!
It's a difficult situation, but
Interesting.
all liability will lay with you because you've left the
that's
ground.
right. Yeah.
Moving on we've seen all the information about Sam Kerr overnight in the last 24 hours. More and more stories
questions
coming
and
up.
answers, though, don't we think?
I think the main one is that she never told anyone, in particular Football Federation Australia. Management could have talked on her behalf and let the world know that this was in play.
And for them to come out and say that they only found out that morning.
Yeah, they found out like we did.
I think they
It's
were
like,
they
they weren't
looked
happy about
pissed.
it.
Oh, Nathan, behind
And
the
if you're
scenes.
not covered, and
Can you
usually
imagine?
they're also, everything's fine. So for them to show that, geez, mate.
And given, she must have known it was going to break like this. Like, it can't.
So what's the deal? It happened a year ago, yeah?
Yes, but
Happened a
she
year
was
ago?
charged a month ago.
A month ago.
Yeah, about 5
And then
weeks.
it went
They
to
found
court
out yesterday.
when it went to court.
Yep.
A month ago, she should have told them because, that night, who knows what happened that night.
100%.
If you wake up the next day and remember it, who knows?
Yeah.
Here's James Johnson, CEO of Footy Federation Australia.
I woke up this morning, like everyone else did, to the news, and that's when Football Australia found out about this unsettling event. Of course, it's very serious allegations. At the same time, Sam has rights, natural justice rights. But look, we're trying to get to the bottom of it at the moment. We've got our own questions that we'd like to know. We've got to find out what actually happened, but that process needs to run its course.
He was just in Adelaide doing a press conference because he was talking about upcoming Olympic things and making the most of the Matildas because they're in the spotlight. And then the first question, boom, he would have known this like 10 minutes before.
The only way that could have been better is if he was actually doing the press conference and then goes, beep, beep, and he goes, oh, no. Text message, I've got to go.
And all the reporters' phones are going, beep, 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 beep. Any questions? No more questions.
No more, I've got to go.
I've got to go.
My toaster's popped.
That used to be a running joke with the NRL because it seems
Yeah, of
like the
course.
CEO of the NRL would turn up. This is a couple of years ago.
They had to appoint a firefighter in that position because he was just constantly fighting fires.
That's
It was
what he
crazy.
doing. They'd stand there.
Spot
Next
fires
thing you know,
there,
it's like, oh,
no.
there we go again. Hopefully, Sam can work through this. But the number one thing, you know, when you're in this situation and you're a
she's
profiled person,
mega star.
Yeah.
you've
Mega
got to let
star.
everybody know. Jeez.
Oh, yeah, ugly situation.
We're just going to head over to Vegas, catch up with our Nova teammate from Brizzy. Well, he works for Brisbane, but he's over in Vegas and he's making the most of every part of the NRL vacation. Luttsy, good morning.
Yeah. Legends, how are we? Live from Las Vegas. I know your listeners probably can't see this, but you can see what's in the background here. You've got Bellagio, the fountains behind me.
Yes.
They'll be cranking up soon. And even though the NRL finished literally days ago, for some reason I'm still here. All picked up.
Well, Vegas has you now, so, you know.
So, Luttsy, we just would like to talk about your contract with Nova. How? Shaun was saying he must have something in his contract, and Shaun goes, why don't we have anything in our contracts?
Because last time we talked to you, Luttsy, you were at the World Athletics
Where was
Championships
I?
in Budapest.
I was too, in Budapest.
Yeah, and we're like, how did he get there? And now you're in Vegas.
How
So
is this
once
happening?
again,
This is Hogwarts stuff.
how?
I've sold them the dream that see Brisbane has the Olympics in 2032.
Yeah.
And I've just said I'm so passionate about that, and I'm gonna run the damn things. Not actually run them, just like try and run. Be part of the organising committee. So they let me do more things. So you've got to find something coming up in Perth that you're going to pretend you're the CEO of,
Right.
And then say every event right around the world that happens between now and then, it's important you go to it. Genius.
Okay, so
You're welcome.
we got Sexpo coming up in a couple of months. Does that kind of fit the bill?
Oh, Shaun, if you do that, you'll be walking like a cowboy at the end of it.
Well, I tried everything.
Plus, Fitzy touched my ass at the Christmas party, so I went to sue them.
It's all about consent, isn't it? It really is.
Got to do. Well, it's
You
working.
got to sign the consent act.
Speaking of 2 days after NRL, and I'm a bit honestly, I went from an NBA game in LA Wednesday, which was Clippers Lakers, when LeBron James, they reckon it's one of his great ever performances.
Oh, yeah, they came from behind. He dominated that last quarter,
Yeah.
Luttsy.
From 21 behind the last quarter. It was huge. Then went to Vegas and saw U2 at the Sphere on Friday night.
The Sphere.
I'm presuming you know what the Sphere is.
Oh, my God.
Crazy.
Is it amazing when you're in there?
I'm a U2 fan, so it was one of those. It was almost too much. Emotionally, I think I was in tears 5 times seeing U2 at the Sphere. But even if it wasn't U2, I think the next residency is like. It's like the Grateful Dead cover band. John Mayer's on guitar. It's weird, but they're the next Sphere residency. But it doesn't really matter because it's more about the actual like someone said. I think Susie O'Neill on our show the other day says it like IMAX. I said it's like if IMAX had had sex with another IMAX and the kids were on steroids for 42 years and then steroids. It's beyond anything you can ever imagine. And that was before the NRL even started. And then the NRL was the next night. So you can imagine the sort of four. And then my boys Loud Luxury from that great song Body from a few years ago, they were playing Omnia, one of the best nightclubs in the world. So I managed to weasel myself into the DJ box at that. Before getting kicked out for falling over.
The Sphere. Do you reckon when the cleaners are in there cleaning up, do you reckon someone's sync their phone up and put Pornhub up?
So you can
I just on a great scale.
Can you imagine?
Well, you can because you've seen the screens live. So
Hey, Luttsy, I'm going to ask though. I mean, we're not an NRL town here. Did anybody care that the NRL was in Vegas other than the NRL players? Like, did people go?
It was like a 65,000 seat stadium. I think I'd say that 30,000 or maybe 25 to 30,000 were Australian. Maybe 12 or 13,000 were US people. But I will say this: And it was over a weekend too. I wouldn't say it was the busiest weekend in Vegas I've ever been to, but there were rugby league jerseys everywhere. And not only the jerseys from the 4 teams that played, I think it really was a great event for the National Rugby League itself. They're doing a 5-year deal. I tell you what, I know that Perth is predominantly an AFL town, but there'll be a few AFL executives scratching their heads saying, okay, how do we counter this? Because I feel like, particularly on the eastern side of the country at the least, you guys can speak on behalf of Perth, but I think it resonated quite heavily that they've done something. What was absurdly ambitious has actually played into the hands for the NRL.
Well, we've
have to
got
get
a saving
Harley Reid
grace
to
here.
Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a saving grace, and it's Harley
answer.
Reid.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the other interesting thing about that, Luttsy, because the AFL went to LA in 2008, and previous to that,
That's
they were
right.
playing games in London regularly. I played in a couple of those games, sellout crowds, all the rest of it. But they've let it go for 15 years.
I mean, and there was early criticism for the NRL, but I mean, again, there was one blight on field where there was that racial slur thing, which I think we could put in a different category. But other than that, it's been a tick in every box for the NRL. Again, it's a 5-year deal. And you know what it's like. I've been on plenty of events in Perth and Adelaide, no matter where they are in Australia, whether it's rugby sevens, things like that. Live Golf is now in Adelaide. They reckon it takes 3 years for it to start to get traction with the local market there. So I'd say moving forward, it's going to be a huge success. More importantly, I've got 4 shows to pick from tonight, guys. Can I run you through?
Yes, please.
Run us through the options.
Yes,
Oh, well, this is like first class and 50K, isn't it? All right, but let's all pick which one we want.
Exactly. I'm not into Carrot Top or Magic, so I've got obviously Thunder from Down Under.
Yeah.
Who now have Aussie Heat going head-to-head with them. Using that terminology. The most hands-on show in Vegas, it tells me, Aussie Heat. Then I've got Dita Las Vegas. That's Dita... Not Dita Brummer from...
Dita
Brummer.
Home and away,
Dita
it's
Brummer
not
in a big
him.
champagne glass covered in bubbles.
That Dita Von Teese, that'd be a great show.
Yes.
Well, then there's Ladylike Burlesque at Virgin Hotel, which presumably I'd get a reduction in entry price because of my Virgin card. I don't know. But so which one?
Well, I wouldn't go to the burlesque show at the Virgin Hotel. I don't think that's going to be too cool.
No, that's at the Horseshoe.
Doesn't sound like it's going to be very
Wherever that
exciting.
is.
How many days are you extending this trip for? The NRL players came back yesterday.
So again, get your notepads out. If I had to come home on Sunday after the NRL, I would have missed a day of radio. And God forbid Brisbane missing me for a day on Nova.
Well, we've just had you now, and we can't get enough.
So you then have to stay there for the whole week, basically.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so I'm there on Friday. I don't go back till Friday.
You are hilarious.
You are a...
Genius. I should write a book.
You've got to,
I want to see the
Yeah.
pictures that you have of the CEO because that's extraordinary.
You know what I will do is I'll send you through some of the Sphere U2 stuff at least so you can give a look at that incredible spot. I'll do that immediately.
Well,
guys.
what a great piece of
Fantastic.
social media content. Thank you so much. The bosses might let you stay for an extra day now.
Yeah, and a
that's
complete
right.
tax deduction too.
Thoroughly
Thanks,
justified
Luttsy.
it.
All on tax. Thank you.
Luttsy, you bloody ripper.
It's when we say we love
Love
your work,
guys.
Luttsy, we really do love your work.
good
It's
guy.
extraordinary. Thanks for talking to us, buddy.
Love talking to you guys. Always.
See you, man.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.